So we are here with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Thanks for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, first I want to ask about impeachment. As a member of the House, you just voted to formally impeach President Trump. What do you make of the process so far, and do you think it's worth it given that the Senate will probably not move forward with it?
Well, I do think it's worth it. When I think about my role as a House member, we have to consider what our duties and responsibilities are as a House, as the House of Representatives. And I don't think that when it comes to accountability and upholding the rule of law, we have to be making decisions based on political calculations of whether the Senate will do its job or not. I think we need to focus on doing our job, and we've done that very thoroughly. We've had depositions, we've had fair rules, we've had equal time allotted to Democratic and Republican members, and we've also ensured that that at the end of the day there was a vote, and that vote was cast, and the president, very flagrantly violated his oath. He withheld foreign aid that Congress had appropriated so that he could essentially attempt to extort another country into creating a politically motivated investigation to his opponent. It is completely unacceptable and very eroding of our democracy to do that.
You're a freshman member of Congress. We have all this impeachment talk. I've seen some of the videos of you in those committee hearings with those really fiery questions. What's the experience been like so far in this time as a freshman congresswoman?
Yeah, I mean, it's been overwhelming. It's been a very historic time, and we've also had a lot of history makers in my freshman class as well. I was elected as the youngest woman in American history, but we also have the youngest African American woman elected this year. We had the first Muslim women elected this year. We had the first Native American women elected this year. So this is a whole class of history makers. And then being in the midst of history with the third impeachment in the history of the United States happening, it's been really tumultuous, but also very exciting. And there's a lot of opportunity in this moment for us to really come together as a country.
And now you're here kind of on the campaign trail with Bernie Sanders. This is your first visit to Nevada, correct, with Sanders' campaign. Why did you endorse him, and why do you feel like it's important for you, physically to be out here?
Yeah, well, I kind of spoke to this a little bit yesterday, in that I feel like, and we know that Senator Sanders isn't just running a presidential campaign for himself, and he's not just running to be president. He is running to represent a broad grassroots movement and bring essentially a people-powered movement that's been decades in the making to the White House. And I think that is a huge, momentous, ambitious effort that we should support, because this isn't just about fighting for Bernie's election. This is about fighting for a living wage in this country, for guaranteed health care to all Americans, for public education and trade schools to be available to all people so that we can compete as a 21st century economy, to make sure that immigrants are afforded basic human dignity, and that we really start to approach and dismantle our system of mass incarceration. This is a wholesale positive shift that I think his campaign represents, and I wanted to be a part of that.
And one part of that is, we hear a lot about it, is combating climate change. You are a big proponent of the Green New Deal. How do you pitch the Green New Deal to people who are skeptical, and how much of it do you feasibly see actually happening?
So one thing that I think is really important is that the Green New Deal is broken down into three basic principles. One is drawing down our carbon emissions in 10 years. That is a matter of scientific fact. It's something that we have to do, or else climate change is going to reach a trigger point that is going to get very far beyond our control. And for people who doubt that, I would just say, look at what's happening to Australia, where the wildfires have now gotten outside of the scope of containment, where people can barely live in certain areas, or the wildfires in California. We have to cut our carbon emissions in 10 years. That's the scientific consensus. The second is if we're going to do that, we need to put tons of people to work. And that's going to mobilize our economy and create millions of jobs, switching to renewables, retrofitting our infrastructure, upgrading our buildings. And third of all, it's to center and consider frontline and marginalized communities in that process. Oftentimes, it's low-income communities whose water gets poisoned, and it's a lot of people who have to deal with rising sea levels, drought, and all of the other challenges that come with climate change. And so really this is what we have to do. And if we don't pursue a Green New Deal, the option is to do nothing or to do too little. And if we do those things, the cost is going to be far higher than actually deciding to act.
And we're here at a Spanish language town hall. I believe Latino voters are expected to be the largest minority voting bloc in 2020. So why do you think having an event like this, especially here in Nevada and Las Vegas, is so crucial?
Well, I think the Southwest is where it's at. I think Southwestern states, whether it's Nevada or Colorado or Arizona, this is going to be a transformational area in the country for our politics in the future. I think it's going to be states like Nevada that decide presidencies, Colorado, Arizona as well. And I think that as a result of that, the Latino electorate is going to be only grow more influential as time goes on. And we should use that power, and we should use that ballot box to make decisions, to make working families' lives easier, and to fight for economic dignity and our rights and healthcare and education and immigration justice and criminal justice reform. Because really, I think it's in our community's hands to help contribute to advancing or creating an advanced society in the United States. And so it's up to us, and I want to do my part as a Latina, as a young person, to be part of our country's future.
Congresswoman, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.